Welcome to the Beyond Barriers podcast. If you're an ambitious woman who wants to dominate your career, then you are in the right place. This podcast is co-hosted by Nikki Barua, digital innovator, serial entrepreneur, author, and speaker, and Monica Marquez, ex-Googler, diversity expert, and senior corporate leader. From inspiring stories to cutting-edge strategies, you'll learn how to develop the skill set, mindset, and tool set to get future-ready fast and accelerate your success. Welcome to the Beyond Barriers Habits and Hacks show. Did you know that for every 100 men promoted or hired into a role as a first-time manager, only 72 women are promoted or hired? The imbalance is greater for women of color, with only 68 Latinas and 58 Black women hired into managerial roles per 100 men. This survey, conducted by Lean In and McKinsey in 2019, revealed that women are not getting hired at the same scale, promoted at the same pace, nor paid at the same rate as men. While there are many institutional reasons for this gender gap that may not be in your control, here's something that is: take ownership of your successes.
That's right. And that's why in today's episode, we'll share with you how you can demonstrate your impact, put yourself in a better position to be hired, promoted, and compensated, and stop being the best kept secret. So let's dive right in. Mm-hmm. Monica, you've been in senior HR roles and been a leadership development expert with some of the world's best companies. Tell us, what are some of the reasons why the achievements of women executives are not as visible?
Well, your career progression is directly influenced by how you're perceived by those who can influence the decision. And like the saying goes, perception is reality. If you are perceived to be something, well, you might as well be it, because that's the truth in people's minds. There are things known and there are things that are unknown, and in between are the doors of perception.
That's a great quote.
Yes. I mean, what it means is that for others, be they your peers, subordinates, or superiors, how they perceive you is reality to them. And how you perceive yourself has nothing to do with reality. When we don't own our achievements, or we let others take credit for those achievements, we are choosing to take the hardest path to success. No matter how hard you work and how many things you get done, it all comes down to whether people recognize your impact. And that's why, if you want to be successful in your career, you have to learn how to own your achievements and not think of it as bragging or being boastful. This is simply about being confident in who you are and the impact that you've created.
Totally makes sense. You've done the hard work, you've produced the results, so don't dismiss your achievements. But we both know that that's easier said than done.
Yes.
Because what it doesn't account for is that ick factor.
Yes.
I mean, we've all gone through this experience where, as women, we tend to struggle with promoting our own achievements because we worry that it's somehow going to make us look kind of arrogant or selfish or boastful. And that's what the ick factor is about. Like, nobody wants to be perceived that way. And so even when we do speak out about something that we've achieved, we just don't present the information in a way that helps our own successes. And if we don't toot our own horn, if we will, nobody else will either. And that's why so much of that visibility isn't because we haven't done things. It's because it's just not talked about and we don't do anything to promote it.
Yes. I mean, you're exactly right. I mean, for me, where this played out early in my career was that I kept my head down. I did all the work. I played by the rules, and I never asked why. And all because I was taught, and I grew up in a very traditional Mexican-American family, and I was always taught to be grateful. So I never expected more. And it didn't matter if I was getting any credit. I was just thrilled to have a job. I mean, my mom always told me, "Mija, put your head down and work twice as hard." And well, that's what I learned to do. And that's what I did, right?
Yeah.
However, years later, when I entered the world of corporate America, I learned really, really quickly that if you don't pick up your head, if you don't speak up, if you don't raise your hand and ask for the opportunity and then work hard and over deliver, then you're never going to get it. But here's the thing. Once the project was over, you weren't done. Like just because you finished the project, no, you have to share your results and outcomes with a little self-promotion dust, like I like to call it. You have to sprinkle some dust of self-promotion on these accomplishments in order to gain the necessary visibility to advance. And here's the kicker. If you don't self-promote, not only are you at risk that someone else will get the credit for your work, but there's an even bigger risk. Having peers, colleagues, or worse, your company leaders asking, what does Monica actually do?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, that can be a career breaker. So personally, I would rather suffer the minor pain and that awkwardness and that little bit of ick factor of having to self-promote about my contributions to allow leaders that have that perception that I don't add any value. They'll know because I'm self-promoting, right? I mean, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, completely. I mean, I would much rather learn how to do this and, deal with the awkwardness and the discomfort of learning the new skill rather than look around and say, wow, nobody within my company or outside really knows what I'm great at or all that I've accomplished.
Now, I was fortunate enough early in my career to be given ownership of a rather high-profile project. And the senior leader in that organization was an amazing mentor and a generous spirit. She not only gave me the project, but made sure that I got the spotlight. The project was a huge success, but what was transformative for me was the impact that it had on my visibility. I mean, suddenly I was appearing in magazines. I was being interviewed by industry leaders. I was being viewed differently, even by my own peers and colleagues. Now, my skills hadn't changed, but my reputation sure had. And that made all the difference. I went from nobody to somebody of influence. And my career took off and I attracted opportunities instead of chasing them. The roles I was offered were bigger and better, and my compensation grew exponentially. Here's the best part though. Over time, there's compounding effect on your reputation. So every accomplishment builds upon the previous one and amplifies the value to the world. That's why it's easier to get bigger and better opportunities as you progress through your career. Do you want to grow your impact as a change agent who ignites transformation in others, but you don't have a proven step-by-step method? Do you want to grow your visibility and influence as a thought leader to inspire others, but you don't know where to begin? The Beyond Barriers High Performance Executive Coach Certification is designed for experienced leaders who want to grow their impact and influence. Join this exclusive community of high achievers, advance your career as a leader, and experience the joy of helping others grow. Go to IamBeyondBarriers.com and register for the webinar to learn more.
That's an amazing story. And it really illustrates just the power of your visibility and what it can do to completely transform the trajectory of your career and your compensation. So clearly, we need to be able to own our accomplishments. But let's say someone hasn't been doing that, but now wants to, perhaps start building that skill. But they're still really struggling with how to own their accomplishments, let alone share it publicly. They're not even comfortable fully owning it themselves.
Right.
Where should they even begin?
That's an excellent question. And here's the secret. All it takes is for you to make your own greatest hits list.
What's the greatest hits list?
It's simple. It's all you're doing is you make a list of everything awesome that you've done. So make a list of projects that you've led or people that you've coached and mentored. List out big wins that you've celebrated. I mean, new ideas or products that you've invented or thought of. And maybe it's even risks that you've taken.
Or adversity you've overcome.
Yes.
Or maybe you're the first to do something. Like maybe you're the first in your family to get this big job, or you're the first woman at the table and so forth.
Exactly. You got the picture. I mean, no matter how insignificant you might think it is, just go ahead and make it and add it to the list. And don't be shy about going way back in time, right? You need to have this huge greatest hits list. that is a great way for you to feel excited about the value that you've created. And once you're able to see how much you've done throughout your life and career, that's just a phenomenal feeling. Another benefit is to keep on adding to this achievement list. And it comes in really, really handy during performance review cycles when you have to write a self-assessment.
Yeah, that's a great point, because usually right around those performance review cycles, and you have to fill out this document listing out everything you've done, and you think to yourself, only the most important things come to mind, but we don't do a good enough job of identifying all those little ways in which we added value and made a difference. And so keeping a greatest hits list that you're constantly adding to is a really handy tool when the most important moments arrive.
Exactly. Once you have that list, reflect on which successes you don't really acknowledge or celebrate. Usually you're only focused on the ones that just recently happened, right? Which successes did no one know about? Which ones did someone else take credit for? Or maybe mentioned your name, but they really didn't give you all the credit that was due. This is your opportunity to take some of that back. So just get started on taking ownership and sharing your accomplishments. Before you know it, your greatest hits won't be your best kept secret alone.
That's phenomenal. Your reputation allows other people to know how you can help them. And that's really what you got to remember. This isn't just about what you know and your self-promotion. Remember, if nobody knows how great you are and what you do, then they can't lean on you for your expertise. Think of it more from a perspective of service and contribution, as opposed to thinking of it as something selfish. Don't let limiting beliefs and preconceived notions hold you back from owning your success. You deserve it, and the world deserves you.
Yes.
Have a great week. See you next time.
Thank you for listening to the Beyond Barriers podcast. There are thousands of podcasts out there, and we are so grateful that you've chosen to listen to ours. If you enjoyed the show, please tell a friend about it and subscribe to get new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Visit iambeyondbarriers.com, where you'll find show notes and links to all resources for each show, including the best way to connect with our guests. See you next episode.